You shouldn't celebrate someone dying because it's still a life loss. Is it though? Is Charlie Kirk a life loss, or did the devil just call home one of his disciples? I mean, they celebrated when they killed Martin Luther King and he was preaching peace. I think it's okay for people to be rejoicing in a white supremacist dying. I think that's all right. Mind you, he died doing what he loved, protecting gun rights. He said so famously that he believes that deaths are just sacrifices made to keep your Second Amendment, and he is indeed one of those sacrifices. That man spent the last few years of his life peddling racism, white supremacy, xenophobia, sexism, and all things detrimental to a productive society. He was the embodiment of bigotry, and him dying in this way was very poetic. And I don't feel bad.
And to my people, to my black people, this is not our fight. Stay out of it. It's not our fight. They said violence had no place in politics. They weren't saying that during the civil rights, back when they was assassinating us then. It didn't apply then. Let it fly now. It's not our fight. Let the white people handle it.
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome to the channel. I hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back once again. So as we all know and have heard, and as we also see in the title, Charlie Kirk has passed. Charlie Kirk was a political activist in America who was a conservative, and he had quite a following and a large platform. He always had these political debates where he shared his views, and I believe he was even going on tours from university to university. So he was actually unalived when he was having one of those talks at a university in Utah. And I believe Utah is a predominantly palm-colored state, if I'm not mistaken. So it was actually an unfortunate incident because this actually happened while his wife and two kids, little children under the age of 3, were in the crowd. And it's so sad to know that these kids were there and watched that happen. But now, speaking about the man Charlie Kirk, his death and the way he died has sparked a lot of conversation, ranging from if people should be unalived for just having an opinion, just like Charlie Kirk did, and also about his legacy. Charlie Kirk does not mince words when he says the things that he has to say, and he has actually said a lot of things that did not sit right with people from a lot of minority communities, especially our people, black people. And I'm just going to be going right ahead to play some of the videos with these hot takes that he has made that always sparked some kind of outrage.
Why is that?
So I'm sorry, are you trying to say that blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm asking you the question. The data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation. But
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just trying to understand, why is it the more social welfare we've done, so we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. We've done everything that's been asked.
You haven't done everything that's been asked, though.
Great society,
because what is being asked?
Subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous. So there's an explanation. I'm asking you to
But we are not asking for handouts. We are asking for equity. And part of equity is
taking from other people?
Excuse me, it means sharing, which is something that you guys seem to have a very hard time doing.
Sharing. So somebody has to explain why black America, and you haven't, is 13% of the population and commits 58% of the murder.
Black people have built and founded the society.
Thank you.
White individuals are actually more likely to be attacked, especially even per capita, by black individuals in this country. The narrative that they have tried to force feed this nation post-2020 is that we are a systemically racist country to our core. And all of this has now been met with an appropriate backlash where people said, we're actually not nearly as racist as you say we are. In fact, we're the least racist country ever to exist in the history of the world. Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job. You'll have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. Should black people get reparations?
I believe they should.
So I, white man, have to play for black people. Why?
Wow, that's a really selfish thing you just said.
Hold on. Why should I have...
That's a really non-empathetic thing to say.
Why should I have empathy for a race? I have white guilt because I breathe?
Why should the white students here have to work harder to pay for black kids? What is that all about?
Not every black person has lineage connected to slaves, and every white person doesn't have lineage connected to slaves.
Yes, that's right. So since every black person doesn't have a lineage connected to slaves, why should we generalize and say reparations for black people?
Because there are people that are in a worse place.
So over 150 years, they didn't have any ability to make better decisions, to save money, and to invest. How about you take responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming the white man? I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily, no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, you know, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that it does a lot of damage, but if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
No, this is fine. This is great.
Basically,
so you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies.
This is where we disagree. What an insult to the working poor of this country.
So why do you think black people commit more crime?
Well, first of all, so let me ask you a question as my answer.
Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So
80% of blacks do not have a stable father around. That is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And
it's not a racism problem. It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women that they have impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community. And it shouldn't be.
Culture. Okay.
Don't take my word for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book on how black culture allows single motherhood to continue into a nanny state type practice. 75% of black youth are raised out of father in the home. 75%. Is that a bigger problem or not a bigger problem than whiteness, white privilege, or white supremacy?
Now, it was essential to play those videos so that we can know the kind of opinions he held and the things that he said and the way that he thought. These were the things he was pushing. And of course, it would be disingenuous to say every single thing he said was negative, because definitely he might have said one or two things that make sense. But as it relates to people who he felt were different from him, it is no surprise that a lot of people actually do not mourn or do not care for the fact that he has passed away. And they have taken to social media to make it known that they do not care if he has passed away or how he passed away. At this point, I'm just going to go right ahead and play people's thoughts and commentary about him passing.
Nah, don't forget now. Charlie went and told y'all. This is an unfortunate sacrifice. Charlie Kirk went and told you that it was an unfortunate sacrifice that would need to be made to protect the Second Amendment. Things like this would have to happen. A citizen getting popped in broad daylight would have to happen. As unfortunate as it is, it was an unfortunate sacrifice that must be made to uphold the Second Amendment. Charlie Kirk fought for that. He worked hard for this. He worked real hard. He advocated for a fascistic regime, preached nonsensical race junk science that has been debunked for over 100 years. He hated the LGBTQIA community. An active TERF who didn't want women to have body autonomy and reproductive rights. He was a known Islamophobe, a white Christian nationalist, a man who he himself went on record on his little TV show and said he hated empathy. He thought it caused a lot of problems. Mr. Kirk worked real hard for this, and he knocked on hate's door all of his professional life. And the funny thing is, if you knock on hate's door long enough, hate will finally answer. And it answered him.
They want us to humanize Charlie Kirk now that he's gone. But let's be real, he spent his entire life denying humanity to literally everyone else. So don't expect softness now. This man wasn't just a conservative talking head. He called the Civil Rights Act a mistake. He said Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was nothing more than a DEI hire. He smeared Dr. King, mocked black professionals, stoked fear of immigrants, and spent every breath turning white grievance into a brand. That's not political disagreement. That's a career built on stripping dignity away from entire groups of people. And here's the thing, right? The second he's gone, suddenly people want compassion. Suddenly it's about his family, his humanity, his legacy. Where was that energy when he was tearing ours down? When he was spitting on the humanity of black people, Latinos, immigrants, queer folks? We're supposed to forget the damage because the man is dead? Death doesn't erase the harm. Death doesn't clean a record. And let's not pretend that that shot was sloppy rage. It was too clean. It was too sharp. Whoever did it knew exactly what they were doing. And the irony is that Charlie worshipped that same culture of guns and violence. He fed it. He amplified it. And it came back for him. That's not karma. That's America. So no, I'm not going to rewrite his story into something soft. The only sympathy that I have is for his children, because they didn't ask for his poison. But for Charlie Kirk, he made it his life's mission to divide, belittle, and dehumanize. And that's exactly how history should remember him. Not as a victim, not as a martyr, but as the hateful man that he chose to be. I think it's time to meet one of my puppies. This is Cooks. This is Cooks. Me Cookie. Aw, me Cookie. That's my boy. That's my boy.
So breaking fucking news, Charlie Kirk got shot in the fucking neck. That was the last bastion. I can't be a liberal no fucking more. You see the fucking comments? I hope the gun is okay. The same fucking people asking for moral decency. I cannot in good faith align myself with you guys anymore. I once had a headache. You'll be alright. Cause you don't agree with him politically? Okay. Whatever happens next, in retaliation, whoever did that shit, I hope they throw the whole fucking book at you. The whole fucking book at you. While I did not agree with his views, when you put violence in the fucking middle of the equation, all this shit goes out the window. Everything that you stand for goes out the fucking window. Who's next? Candace Owens? Take that shit as a warning. Stop doing the fucking public panels, bro. Stop doing all that. Oh, what do you think about him? These people are fucking insane. Oh, well, both sides are... No, these people are fucking insane. Dude, things are gonna get very... Do not speak politics at all in public. Do not do that shit. These people are fucking unwell. Protecting fucking dickheads stabbing Ukrainian girls in a bus. Protecting fucking shooters just because they think they're the other gender. You people make me fucking sick.
Charlie Kirk's death was white on white crime. Does it sound cruel? Almost unnecessary? Exactly, because crime has no color. Violence is not genetic. Hatred is not exclusive to skin tone. Yet the media has carved the words black on black crime as if blackness is the weapon. Or when a white man is gunned down by another white man, the headlines don't say white on white crime. Why did we ever think black on black crime was okay? Why is it okay to define black suffering in collective terms, but white suffering as individual heartbreak? The truth is simple. Crime is proximity. People hurt the people they live near, the ones they clash with, the ones they know. That's why you hear black on black crime, Asian on Asian crime, Latino on Latino crime. It was a label designed to stigmatize, not to explain. So maybe Charlie Kirk's death is a mirror, a reminder that when we reduce tragedy to skin color, we miss the point. We weaponize grief.
The hypocrisy of eulogizing and idolizing Charlie Kirk as a political martyr and political hero is staggering. The depth of gaslighting, untruths, the shameful opportunistic politicization of his assassination is a clear attempt to rewrite his history. Now, we know exactly who Charlie Kirk was, and there's no way on God's earth we're going to let you tell us what he was not. Charlie Kirk's legacy is a legacy of hate. He was a racist, white nationalist, white supremacist, anti-Muslim, Islamophobic, transphobic, Zionist bigot. And whatever my view of him is, doesn't change the fact that I find his assassination absolutely wrong. You know, multiple truths can coexist. First off, these hypocrites, his supporters, are manufacturing a crisis of war and using him as their symbol to go fight. Fight what exactly? Let me just say with my full chest that I am glad that it's not a black or immigrant that killed Charlie Kirk. Because you know it is a white person that killed him. You know that, right? If there had been a black or immigrant, that information would have leaked out a long time ago. And this whole apparatus of hate would have been targeted against the people who Charlie Kirk has spent his entire existence targeting. Let not the irony be lost to you that the same Charlie Kirk that pathologized black people as criminals and went on and on about black on black crime is now the face and symbol of white on white crime, which we all know is far worse than black on black crime. This same hypocrites tell us there is no place for political violence. I agree. But Charlie Kirk was politically violent. His language was politically violent. He supported gun violence and opposed gun control. The same person who said it is right for there to be a cost of gun deaths every year so that we can have the right to arms has now become the cost of gun violence he wanted other people to pay the price for. No political violence, you say. When Charlie Kirk endorsed and manufactured consent for Israel's genocide and political violence, crimes against humanity, against Palestinians every single day. These godforsaken freedom of speech hypocrites are now hunting down people who are exercising their freedom of speech to either celebrate or quite frankly say they don't give a rat's ass that Charlie Kirk is dead. And these hypocrites are like, how dare you? You must lose your job and you must be punished. And I'm like, These hypocrites must be mad to demand that people extend humanity to Charlie Kirk, who never extended an ounce of humanity to people he targeted. So it is freedom of speech when Charlie Kirk said black people were better off during slavery, that black women lack processing skills, are only good at taking white people's slots. When he compared gay to drug addiction, called trans abomination, spewed anti-Muslim and Islamophobic hate, pushed white supremacist agenda against black and brown people, pushed white nationalist agenda against immigrants.
We don't serve the same God. You don't serve the same God as me anytime you can get online and celebrate the death of a man who gave his unsolicited opinion just like you do. To fix your mouth and make jokes about this man losing his life, this man was a husband, this man was a father. But to sit up and laugh and make jokes about it when you do exactly the same thing that he does, which is give your unsolicited opinion that nobody asked you for, there's somebody out there that don't like you either. There's somebody out there that don't like your opinions. There's somebody out there who would do the very same thing to you. So to sit up and laugh at somebody who only gave their opinion, regardless of if you agree with it or not, thinking that it's okay for somebody to take that person's life and sit up and laugh about that, you don't serve the same God that I serve. A lot of y'all wonder why y'all life is so messed up and why you have the problems that you have. It's because you ain't got no God in you. You don't serve a higher power, and it shows. A lot of y'all are demonic. You have some evil spirits. I never listened to Charlie Kirk like that. I would see his stuff come across my timeline every now and then with his controversial takes, but I've never seen anything that he's personally done to justify somebody doing this to him. There's nothing to justify doing this to this man, regardless if you agree with his opinion or not. My prayers go out to his family. This is just a messed up situation, but it goes to show you just how far people will go when they don't like what you're saying.
Anybody, especially black people, that are saying Charlie Kirk was racist and was not for black people and did not know black people, I am 100% convinced that you have never sat through a full debate of his or watched any of his debates with a sound understanding. Black people are always so quick to want to be the victim of a situation that they can't thrive. And this is one of the things that Charlie Kirk was exposing to black people. We have such a cap on us because we think we're limited because we're black or because we're women and because we think our ancestors, whatever they went through, is still impacting us today, but we are not there anymore. Charlie Kirk wasn't saying that we didn't need or black problems didn't matter. He was saying, hey, you're not a slave anymore and there are no more laws that are holding you back, saying that you can't do what a white person can do. You should get up and go and try these methods and become somebody. One thing we got to understand is life is hard and we don't need handouts. Handouts is making people weak and sensitive. That's why this man was just killed over mere opinions. Having an opinion. This man never said nothing racist or hated or hateful towards black people. I followed this man very closely and watched many of his debates, and I stand in agreement with a lot of the things that he say. And I really, if I disagree with anything, it was so small I can't even think about nothing I disagree with. And I just hate that we are people who are so quick to be controlled by the word racism that just one little clip misrepresenting what somebody said is all we need to throw somebody under the bus. We got to think about this. Who are the kind of people, and not to, this was a white on white crime. And whenever these type of people get involved, that means there is some power being seeped out somewhere to the masses that the people in control don't want the power to be with. And this is what he was doing. He was showing a lot of people that are blind and programmed by the system to wake up and get out the matrix. And this was the problem. Telling black people you don't need government assistance because you can be somebody is not racist. Telling us that government assistance has hindered us because before we were on government assistance, we were a more successful people is not racist by reading and understanding the facts.
Y'all are saying we should have empathy for everyone, even those we disagree with. But Charlie Kirk said, I don't believe in empathy. I hate that word. It's a made-up term. Y'all are saying violence is never the answer. But Charlie Kirk publicly called for arming teachers, police crackdowns, supporting militarized borders, and cheering on state violence. Y'all are saying, but no one deserves to be dehumanized. But all of Charlie Kirk's quotes regarding immigrants, trans people, and black protesters are clear examples of dehumanization as policy. Y'all want to say we need unity, not division. But Charlie Kirk said Democrats were evil, mocked social justice movements, said that diversity is a weakness. Sounds like division. See the irony? It seems like white America only discovers empathy when it's one of their own, affected by the very violence that they've been imposing on our people for decades. See, when we're dying under their laws, at the hands of their cops, policies, it's silence. It's stop having a victim mentality. It's ban DEI, ban wokeness. But now, suddenly, empathy matters? Yeah, you don't get flowers and death when you handed out poison in life.
When Americans are angry, they turn to guns. Every single time. We've been trying to tell you that for years, for over 20 years, because children have been unalived in their places of learning over and over and over again by hurt individuals. So it has happened to CEOs of the worst corporations in this country. It has happened to our president. Now it's happened to Charlie Kirk. Now it's happened to a political figure, which tells us something important about our culture. The internet and media have made it so the political space has expanded drastically. And in light of this, so have feelings about and surrounding politics. They've expanded, they've grown, and they've gotten serious to the point where people are so distraught and angered by their political emotions that they have resorted to pew-pewing people. And I can't act like I don't understand that. I can't act as though that feeling and that result is not expected when the talking points of these social media figures have led to a culture based around hating individuals who look like me. We are seeing a drastic resurgence of marginalization and dehumanization taking commonplace in America, in our social institutions. Places that were supposed to feel safe are now politicized in a way that hurts brown, black, and LGBTQ communities. What do you expect to happen? Charlie Kirk has been one of the biggest vessels in communicating this hatred. And now we're seeing a symptom of a deeper problem manifesting in the violence that was perpetuated against him. People are angry and afraid, and they don't like the direction that this country is going. And they don't know what to do about it. Blame the root problem. Blame the fascist culture that is taking over this country, that's making every other country look at us like we are crazy. Are you seeing it now? Are you understanding that something is wrong?
Right before Charlie Kirk got popped, someone asked him, do you know how many mass shootings have happened in America in the past 10 years? He replied, counting or not counting gang violence. Then pop, he was about to shift the blame for mass shootings on us. And now for some reason, 8 historically black colleges and universities are under threat. Campus lockdowns and all. All this because Charlie got popped in Utah, where the black population is 1.2%? What is it about whiteness that y'all can never blame yourselves? How did you come to the conclusion that you are as sinless as Christ himself? And now they want to put a statue of Lil Charlie in the U.S. Capitol, comparing him to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Do you know what school Lil Charlie went to? That would give him the authority to speak on religion, to speak on race, to speak on politics. No, you don't. Because Lil Charlie dropped out of Harper College in Chicago. His first claim to fame was stopping a price increase on cookies at his high school. You can't make this up. Then he wrote an article for Breitbart, alleging liberal bias in textbooks. That affirmative action him in appearance on Fox Business. This is your king? Because the only one I know is Dr. King. PhD in systematic theology from Boston University. The one who wrote 5 books, who electrified the masses, and didn't have to cut his speeches into clips to do so. You see, what y'all not gonna do is conflate these two legacies. Because Dr. King challenged America to live up to the democracy it claimed to be. Lil Charlie, he just repeated fascism, Christian fundamentalism, without critical thinking, might I add, misogyny, really anything that got him paid. America, not only are we not your scapegoat, you really don't even deserve to live in our shadows.
Now, speaking about Charlie Kirk's legacy, a lot of people are trying to say no one deserves to be unalived for expressing their opinions. But at the end of the day, can we really just call them opinions? Because a lot of his debates that I watched and the things he said were straight from the white supremacist handbook. I dare say some of them even sounded like hate speech to me. He made a lot of racist remarks like saying black people were better off during slavery and Jim Crow. That's just one amongst a lot of the things he said. And then there was a lot of misogyny in the things that he said as well. These videos are online. You can look them up and hear the things this man said. And then you begin to wonder, at what point is it just opinions? And at what point is it actually going to be considered a dangerous rhetoric that is being put out there to inspire fear and hatred against people who do not look like you, against people who are not palm colored, against people who are not straight white Christian males in modern day America.
I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but saying that black people were better off under slavery and Jim Crow because they committed less crimes is not a political opinion. Saying that black women don't have equal cognitive functioning to white people, and if they are in high up positions, that must mean that they took a white person's slot, is not a political opinion. Believing that black men who die because of police violence deserved it is not a political opinion. Saying that you don't believe 1 in 5 women are actually essayed, so then 1 in 5 women must be lying, is not a political opinion. That is white supremacy and misogyny. And white supremacy and misogyny aren't political opinions. They're political violence.
And for my Christian brothers and sisters who want to look at the fact that he was a Christian and feel like this was an attack on Christianity, I think we need to have a rethink, because even Christianity preaches empathy and accepting people, even those who do not look or think or operate like you do. But at the end of the day, violence is not the answer. I do not think he should have been unalive. We don't have the power to give life, and nobody should take life as well. But this just goes to show that free speech really is not free, because at the end of the day, the things you say, the energy you put out always has its way of coming back to you. And I really am wondering what the ripple effect of this whole thing is going to be, because I think there will definitely be a ripple effect. But all in all, I am glad that the suspect that they caught is not a black person, because I can't even begin to imagine what would have happened if it was a black person who did this. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think black people are right to be unbothered about his passing, given the way he felt about black people and he made it known? Or do you think we should show some empathy and some respect for the dead? Let me know in the comment section. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.